Hello my fellow whale watchers and welcome to another Rush Hour Beacon Rush battle. This time I will show you a clash between top players. One of them is also a fellow YouTube creator and one of the best Beacon Rush players that I know. I do not run the strongest brawling gear to be competitive with them in terms of damage count, so instead in this battle I took the role as the beacon capper of my team. So let's see how this goes. In the process I will explain to you some of my tactical moves, hopefully you will find it useful. Let's go! I started with the Lockdown Phantom, solid choice, and we have a few options here in this situation. Finally, I decided to go for one of my favorite tactical moves in the starting phase of Valley Beacon Rush. When most players are going for center to brawl it out there with their Revenants, Capers and whatnot, it can be a very good opportunity to try to get the far home beacon of the red team. Why? Because often it is left unprotected. And in the starting phase of a battle, not many players are willing to sacrifice their robots in order to protect it. So the Phantom is the ideal robot for sneaking it away, also because of its ability. Even if somebody should jump in, for example because he just got destroyed, I can always abort my attack by teleporting back and save my robot. In that case, what I have done is I made somebody jump in there, which is usually creating a tactical advantage for our team. But in this situation, nobody jumps in, even better, so I stay here and lock it down. Let's see for how long we will be able to hold it. I will fast forward a bit, otherwise the video will take too long. We will manage to take out an Aochun. Then, with some trick play, we will also kill this Fafnir. But finally, we are shotgunned by Minos, no chance here. And we find ourselves in this situation here. What would you do in this situation? These are my options. Feel free to pause for a few seconds and think about it. Alright, here is what I did. There are a full shotgun Minos and a Scorpion at beacon E. So the only thing that can deal with this is my Luchador. However, there is also Muramets close by, and it would be quite a gamble to bring it at this point. I may or may not be able to hold the beacon, teammates may or may not help here. There is something approaching our beacon A, but the situation looks okay. There are a few players around our spawn that should be able to deal with this intruder. However, we see here at the bottom that beacon D is challenged. When I was still in a Phantom, I thought that I saw another Minos there. So not sure what this dude here is up to, so I thought it's a good idea to jump in there with something that has quite some brawling power, that can take on a Minos. So what about the Havoc Ravana? Let's see what happens. And indeed, it's a Minos with 3 Cinders. Luckily, we get support by a Luchador, so together we can bring it down and keep that beacon blue. Great teamwork. But look at our beacons. For some reason, this is now the only beacon that is blue. Not good. And the Minos that shotgunned my Phantom before now also approaches. So in this situation I won't be able to hold that beacon, but maybe if I play smartly here, I can take this Minos down. We need to try. Yes, we indeed managed to kill it, but we also get destroyed in the process and we lose the beacon. And now we are in this situation here. This looks quite bad. So at that point I did not have too much hope here that we can turn this around. We don't have too many options here, but I thought that it could be a good idea to try to bring some stability into the game. So I brought my Luchador. We'll see how this works. We can only drop in at our spawn, and we need to take a bit of risk now, otherwise the battle is over in a minute or so. So in this situation here, I try to preserve my abilities to keep my options open, but that Muramets is really bringing our health down. So I don't have a choice really, but must activate my Reflector Shield finally. Then I see another Luchador jumping on center and he seems strong enough to survive there. So I decided to jump on our home beacon and secure it. Let's fast forward a bit. We will indeed be successful to turn it blue. Then I try to help my teammate at center, but I get locked down in the process and die. Okay, we lost our Luchador, but at least our situation looks much better now than before. What would you do here? These are my remaining options. So both B and C seem secure for now. Some reds are camping around A. So the best option here really is to support our teammate at D, so that we can hold it. Holding 3 beacons in this situation is really important because the reds have a huge beacon bar lead. We will probably lose if the situation stayed like this, so we need to stay active. But it's also important here to preserve the current status. 3 teammates are going to the right side, so I move towards center in order to secure it. And we will indeed be able to hold it. Then I decide to bring down this annoying harpy here together with a teammate. Before I will get destroyed by Meta Revenant, ending up in this situation here. What would you do? Alright, let's try again to understand what's happening. D seems safe, B and C are under attack. I believe that my teammates can hold B, it's a 2 versus 1 there. I'm not so sure about C, so definitely it would be a good option to jump on C here. However, I have 2 mid-range support damage dealers left as options, and I believe that I could not be helpful there. Also, as you can see in the background if you look closely, my teammate is in a full Fenrir, so I believe that he can hold that for a while. However, there is some sneaky gameplay going on at A. This dude here is clearly trying to steal it away, so I decide to prevent that. Unfortunately, I did not pay attention, so I don't know what I get myself into. It's an Odens! Wow, I did not necessarily expect a solo Odens to go towards our home beacon, but that's not too bad, because I brought my Aojun, which is a quite good Titan counter. So I believe that we can deal with it. We toasted a bit with our ability, and then we just brawl it out. It had almost no health left. So we kept our beacon blue, but we're still trailing behind on the beacon bar however, so we probably need another beacon, and now comes the situation that will decide this battle. I get attacked by a hawk, so I go behind cover. I have to capture beacon E, but I need to do this smartly, so that I have a chance to also hold it afterwards. And I need to get the hawk out of the way too. So firstly, I need to wait out the hawk's ability, but at the same time, I somehow need to get these 4% that are missing here from my orbital strike. So here's the thing, you may know that the hawk got nerfed some time ago, which means that its reflector shields will not be active anymore during ascent and descent. So I believe that if I manage to hit this hawk a bit, I will get this 4%, and then I can nuke it. Let's see how this works. We time it such that we just get out of cover before his ability is over, shoot it just in these couple of seconds after its ability runs out. Perfect. Now we nuke him and hope that his last stand gets triggered. There it goes, and the rest we can brawl out. Note that I do not use my ability here. This is really important because I may need it much more when I try to get E now. So let's see what happens and if anything jumps in here. Yes, and it is a Mercury. I admit that I really did not expect to see a Mercury in this situation, but it's great to see that some players still use robots from a past generation in general. So for us in this situation, it's good and bad at the same time. It's bad because I do not run Yang Li on my Aojun, but Ali Karener, and he will hit me with his ability. There's nothing really that I can do against it, but it's also good because I may get that beacon. So now you can see why I wanted to preserve this ability. I may not be able to hit at Mercury while its stealth is active, but I can bring myself into a great tactical spot behind the cover on the top platform here. And then from here we need to try to get this Mercury out of the way for capping the beacon. We are also lucky now because there is a teammate that is focusing this Mercury. Perfect! Because this means that we won't need to expose ourselves too much. We basically just need to stay alive longer than a Mercury does. And there it goes. Nice! We kept the beacon and that's it. The rest of the battle is routine. And even my Orochi will have the opportunity to skate around a bit here, so he can tell its grandkids that he once took part in this fantastic battle here. There was a lot happening, a few crucial situations. In the end, we were a bit lucky that time is on our side now, but luck is just always what you need when playing against such top-notch players. Congratulations to my team and also to our opponents for such a great fight. I hope that this video was also useful for you, for improving your own Beacon Rush gameplay. Thanks a lot for listening in again and see you on my channel.